Well, thank you very much. I'm Chuck Staben, president of the university, and I want to welcome you to the University of Idaho's 2018 Convocation. This is a ceremony that brings us together to kick off our academic year. As president, I'm honored to welcome our new students and your parents into the Vandal family, and thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. At this time, if you would just a second, at this time, please stand as Pamela Bathurst, Associate Professor of Voice in our Lionel Hampton School of Music, performs our national anthem. Please stand.
Feel free to join me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Yeah, the times are changing everywhere. Do we dream and do we dare? It's up to you, the door is open wide. Feel the rhythm of today, learn a part and join the play. The world is here, let's take it for a ride. You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Larger than, bigger than, living hopes and dreams. Every boy and girl, higher than, brighter than, all you wanted, and you know. You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You can have all you ever wanted. Larger,
Thanks. Let's give one more round of applause to Spencer Martin and the Sound of Idaho, our great marching band. Well, students, parents, families here today, and those watching over the live stream, welcome to the University of Idaho. Welcome to one of the nation's outstanding public research universities, and welcome to the Vandal family. For myself and many other Vandal faculty and staff, and let's have those Vandal faculty and staff who are here stand up for just a moment. And give them a round of applause. Today really represents the continuation of a lifelong mission. We're here to help you succeed, to grow, to learn, and to explore. A hallmark of the University of Idaho is that we are big enough to matter and small enough to care. In this diverse, dynamic institution, each of you will have a personalized, transformative experience. And this will be the start of an exciting adventure for you. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite movie, A Knight's Tale, starring Heath Ledger. Over 4 years, I always do this, okay? Over 4 years of my presidency, people have heard me quote it many times to illustrate points about why higher education is so important. The movie's plot is simple. In medieval England, a person from humble birth goes on a quest to change his stars, to win a woman's favor, and to prove himself a hero. It's a classic story that should resonate with everyone if they've seen it. And this is about when I realized that most of you in the audience, at least the students that we're welcoming today, were only just born or maybe not born at all when the movie came out in 2001. And many of you will also be sad to know that Heath Ledger, one of the stars, has been deceased for a decade. So I thought maybe I should move on to a new movie, Mission Impossible Fallout. Has anybody seen that? Yeah, I've seen that. Okay. Really? It's like the most popular movie in the United States. There's 3 people who've seen that movie. Gosh, okay. So now I got to tell you about this one too. A man goes on a quest to save the world from plutonium-packing terrorists. He soldiers through impossible adventures. Of course, they're just nearly impossible, before saving the day. Then I realized that Mission Impossible also dates me. Fallout is the 6th in a series that began in 1996. And before that, the TV show that the movies were actually based on first aired in 1966 when I was 8 years old, 52 years ago. That's well before I went to college. So I'm afraid I don't have an incredibly relevant movie to connect with students here today, but it's okay. Because you can really take any movie, and I'm sure, although apparently none of you have seen Mission Impossible Fallout, you've seen a movie, right? Anybody who's seen a movie, would you raise your hand, please? Thank you. A comedy, a romance, a drama. And you can look at it through the lens of something called the hero's journey, a concept you may encounter here, perhaps in a literature class, if you've not already encountered it. The hero's journey is a way of looking at commonalities across mythology and storytelling, from the Odyssey to Mission Impossible, The Knight's Tale, maybe even Paddington Bear. The theory asserts that nearly every story has a hero, and each story has several essential parts. Departure, where the hero leaves the familiar world behind. Initiation, where the hero learns to navigate the unfamiliar world of adventure. And return, where the hero returns to the familiar world. Basically, every story is a quest. A hero goes out from the comfortable world that he or she knows, slays dragons or maybe dispatches terrorists, learns something about himself or herself, and returns to the familiar world ready to use that knowledge and power for good. Students, please apply that formula to the next movie you watch and perhaps to the life that you're beginning today. Think about how it touches on your own life and what you're doing here at U of I. Here you are in new, unfamiliar territory, and you're on a quest. You will face obstacles, and you're going to be challenged. You're going to be tested, often literally tested by some of the people sitting right here. And that's what happens to heroes, and that's what heroes do. If you stick with it, and you lean on members of your Vandal family, you'll make it. In 4 short years, you'll be back here in the Kibbie Dome for your graduation, and you will have changed your stars. You will have made possible what once might have looked impossible. I'm excited to see what you learn about yourself along the way, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what you do with your knowledge, how you bring it back to the places you love and the places you'll go. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for choosing the University of Idaho to start your adventure. And go Vandals. And now I'm proud to welcome to our stage, or to the podium, Nicole Skinner, President of the Associated Students of the University of Idaho. Nicole is a senior from Meridian, Idaho, majoring in political science and economics while working toward a career in public policy, advocacy, and public service. She's entering her first year of presidency at ASUI, focused on revamping civic engagement, improving student spaces, and ensuring equal opportunity. We look forward to working with her as we continue to build a strong student-centered university. Please join me in welcoming President Nicole Skinner.
Good afternoon, Vandals. How are y'all doing? You excited? Yeah? Great. Well, don't worry, I'm not going to throw any obscure movie references your way. But I'm really looking forward to speaking to you all today. First, actually, I have a little video I'd like to show you, though.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Sejam bem-vindos.
Bienvenidos.
Karibu.
Tatsmewi.
欢迎. Swagat.
Welcome to the University of Idaho. Are you ready for an adventure?
At UI, we do things a bit differently.
Vandals, they're problem solvers, tackling real-world issues.
Here at Idaho, every aspect of your safety is important to us. Even if it's uncomfortable to talk about, we're here for you.
As a Vandal family, we embrace all cultures.
All schools of thought. So who remembers what we learned yesterday?
So long as personal safety and civil rights are upheld.
I've got your back.
While it won't always be easy, we believe every student has a chance to thrive.
It takes hard work and dedication.
You have to be intentional to be here. You have to be intentional to be here.
We're doing a lot of big things at the University of Idaho. The future is here, and it's brave and bold. Welcome to the Vandal family.
Go Vandals!
Go Vandals.
Go Vandals!
Go Vandals!
Go Vandals!
I absolutely love that video, not only because of the exquisite puns that it contains, but I really don't know what other university would have staff and faculty members feel so comfortable enough to jump in a pool with a full suit on, Dean Kaler, or stand on top of the Kibbie Dome. And that's one of my favorite things about the University of Idaho is that it's not too big, but it's not too small, and you get the best one-on-one interactions with your administrators that make decisions on your behalf on a day-to-day basis. So I'm able to walk through the hallways and give Dean Eccles a high five. Hey. You know, some of them love making nicknames for some of our students. So it really adds to the overall experience that you get here as a Vandal. And especially, it's even more valuable as a support system. I know I actually only came to orientation 2 years ago. I'm only going into my 3rd year here at the University of Idaho, so it wasn't very long ago that I was in your same exact shoes. And I remember feeling like I had no idea what I was doing. Does that resonate with any of you? Could you raise your hand if you feel like you don't really know what you're doing? You're a bit of a poser. You're just kind of winging it. See? Did you see that? Some of the highest up administrators at this university just raised their hands. And I think that's really important to recognize, is that we're all just trying to get by. I think it's really easy when you're going through something like orientation to feel like you're the only one who doesn't know what's going on. Everyone else has everything together. They've got the perfect room. They're gonna ace their classes. They've got this gym regimen they're gonna stick to. No, it's all a facade, all right? We're all just winging it. We're all winging it, trying to make it through life, including our staff and faculty, clearly. So I think that's really important to recognize as you go through this process, is to be kind to yourself. And of course, you're going to come into university holding yourself to really high expectations, and you want to reinvent yourself and be the best person you can possibly be. And while you should definitely strive to do all of those things, you also need to recognize that you're human, and that anyone going through this process is going to make a lot of mistakes along the way. So that's why I'm even more grateful that we have such great staff and faculty, because as we learn more about ourselves and inevitably make a million mistakes, they're here to catch us when we fall. So that's definitely something to look forward to. Something else to look forward to is that you are genuinely about to embark on some of the best years of your entire life. And I'm sure you've heard that, but it's really not an exaggeration. And I'm sure you've all felt similarly in high school, that you thought it would never be over, and then suddenly one day it was over. Or maybe it just dragged on for you, who knows? It's different for everybody. But university is a lot of the same way, where just you blink and then suddenly you're done and you're walking across the commencement stage, and all your best friends are walking along with you. So I have had many crazy, weird experiences here, many of which are inappropriate to share up on this stage tonight. But there are a few that I could share. I remember one night my friends and I were driving along Main Street at 1 a.m, and we just randomly were like, what if we went to Coeur d'Alene right now? For no reason. And so we went. We just went, because you can do the things like that here. And we had a great time. We just drove around Coeur d'Alene. It was beautiful. There are also events that we put on campus that are some of my fondest memories here. Last year for the full eclipse, we had a huge gathering on the Commons Plaza, and we handed out glasses to everybody, and it was one of the biggest events that we've had as a university in a really long time. And then there are moments I hold dearly too, like moments with faculty members. Recently this last year, I had really shoved grad school and law school off my plate as anything I'd want to consider, and I had a faculty member take close to an hour to sit down with me and remind me why it's important that I still keep all my options in mind, and why that's an important thing for me to consider. So overall, in those three, you can tell there is a large variety of great experiences that you're going to have here. And you're going to hear the expression Vandal family used a lot too, which might just sound like this weird orientation thing right now, but we use that expression all the time because it's really quite accurate. I mean, you really will develop your own family here. And I always struggle when it's time for Thanksgiving break or winter break or spring break, because I really want to go home and see my family, but I also have a family up here that I'm really sad to leave as well. And I think that's something really special that you get here, is that you're not just going to fall through the cracks. You're going to find your own people in your own community, regardless of who you are or where you may come from. And you're going to change a lot too, and it might not feel that way right now, maybe it does, but honestly I can guarantee that in a year you're going to look back and hardly recognize the person that you are right now. You're going to discover new hobbies, you're going to figure out what gets you out of bed in the morning, you're going to make new friends, you're going to lose old friends. Most of you will probably break up with a significant other you have right now in about a week. I think that's a statistical average. No, I made that up, but from my experience, it does seem to be quite accurate. So you're going to change a lot. And as you change and evolve and figure out what you love, I think the best thing I could recommend is for you to get involved. While you have the best safety net here imaginable, this is the best opportunity for you to figure out what you love to do as a person. And just a little plug, this Saturday we're going to have SYNC, which stands for Serving Your New Community. And it's a great opportunity to engage with the community. You can just show up to the Tower Lawn. Your living groups have more information as well, and they'll pair you with your residence hall or your Greek house, things along those lines, and they'll send you out into the community to perform a service project. And then later on Saturday at 5:30, we're going to have Palooza Fest, which is one of our biggest events every single year, where all of our clubs and organizations table out by the Tower Lawn and the surrounding area. And it's a great opportunity to see everything there is to do on campus. There was this huge lizard last year. I've seen men lightsaber fighting on the Tower Lawn, so a little bit of something for everybody. And throughout all of that, a big piece of advice I would give you is just to take care of yourself. You're going to want to jump into a million things and do everything and be everything, but like I said, you're still human. So remember that happiness is a direction, not a destination, and you shouldn't suffer currently in the hopes that you'll be happier along the road. So make sure to take care of yourself as you go through this first year, because it's going to be an overwhelming experience. And remember that you have the ability to make the biggest difference. I don't think you fully understand that right now, but you have the ability to make such a huge difference on this campus. Our administration is so great at listening to students' concerns and acting on them. So if you see something around you that you don't like, do something about it. If you want to create a student organization that it doesn't exist currently, create one. You can really do anything here, and the world is your oyster, as some would say. So speaking of changing the world, I am very proud to introduce to the stage a fellow Vandal, Michelle Aragon, who earned a degree from the School of Journalism and Mass Media from the U of I in 1997. Currently, Michelle works as Senior Vice President of Business Solutions for Magna Global, an organization that uses market research and forecasting to help companies around the world negotiate and purchase advertising. And I actually had the amazing opportunity to meet with Michelle yesterday, and her story really resonated with me. And I am very grateful that she's here with us today, because she flew all the way from New York City to little Moscow, Idaho, so we're very grateful. And she's a first-generation college student as well from Jerome, Idaho. So her story really is a story of what success truly is. It's a lot more than just having a great job in a great city. It's about each and every day trying to make the world around you a better place. And Michelle really does that. She has overcome so many obstacles in her journey to get to the point where she is today and to stand in front of you today and speak. She has a lot of courage and tenacity, and in my opinion, she really exemplifies what it means to be a Vandal. She has dedication to hard work, she's passionate about exploring what's possible, and she's huge on giving back to others through her philanthropic work. She's really, truly an inspiration to me, and I really think she will be to you all as well. So please join me in welcoming this year's Convocation keynote speaker, Michelle Aragon.
Okay, it is hot in here, so I don't know, maybe it's after you turn 40, you just have a different relationship with heat, but so apologies, and please bear with me. Thank you so much to President Staben and Nicole for the introduction and the very kind words. It is truly, truly an honor and a privilege to be here. I feel kind of emotional coming back because it's really been a wonderful homecoming, so thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you. Okay, I'll get that out of the way. I'm so excited to share in this kickoff as you embark on your college experience. Honestly, I must admit, I'm still shocked, very flattered, but shocked that I received an invitation to speak here. You know, here I am, the girl from Jerome, Idaho, the town with one stoplight. Well, I think they may have upgraded since then, but there was one stoplight when I grew up there. So surely there's been some mistake, right? Nicole said some very, very kind words, and hopefully, I'm sure you guys are kind of curious to know a little bit about me and perhaps why I'm here. I certainly don't have any answers for you, but I think that hopefully by the end of this speech, you'll know a little bit more about me. And I wanted to start with a small story as to kind of how I got here. And I think it's actually a timely story, given the national conversations and movements that are happening centered around inequity and diversity. Last year, I received an invitation from the School of Journalism and Mass Media about an ad team reunion and Mark Sechrist retirement celebration. When I was here on campus, I was lucky to be one of the, be on the ad team, and Mark was our advisor and also one of my advertising professors. He's actually one of the reasons why I work in the industry today. Now, coming from New York all the way to Moscow, Idaho is a long haul. So to be honest, I was hesitant to commit to the travel. So I just kind of put the invitation aside and was like, I'll deal with it later. A few months later, I received an email and I saw the lineup of alumni that they had slated, and these were all the ad team alumni. And I looked at the lineup and it was all men. 6 men. And I was like, oh, hell no. Honestly, I was like, what? No. So I literally booked a flight, I pulled some strings and was like, I'm not only coming to this event, but I'm inviting myself to participate. And I did that. The reason I share this with you, I think it's a funny story, but also I just want to point out how important it is if you see inequality happening to say something about it. And better yet, if you can, do something about it. It's my personal responsibility, and I believe that the onus is on all of us to create this change in the world. So back to the reunion. Little did I know that I was signing up to do like a 10-minute presentation. I thought it was just like a Q&A panel with alumni. So I put together this presentation. It was my topic that I came up with was things I wished someone had told me and lessons learned for owning your career journey and success. So President Stabin had joined for the alumni presentations, and he watched us and invited me to connect afterward. I guess I had some great stuff to say, I don't know. That was about a year ago, and since then, I've had the absolute pleasure of getting to know President Stabin, as well as many others on the faculty who have traveled to New York. I've shared with them my story that I was a first-generation college graduate in my family. And while I was the first, I want to give a shout out to my cousin Leah Stouter, who is a current student here. So I'm so glad that I was able to kind of blaze a trail for her. I'm sure some of you are also first in your family to attend college, or perhaps know someone is. I want to give a shout out to the camp program over there. I see you guys. I had the pleasure of having dinner with them yesterday, and I'm just so proud to see you guys here. Graduating, this is a big deal that you're here, not just for those who are first in your family to attend, but graduating high school and taking the steps to apply and attend college is a success in itself for all of you here today. You know, success is a funny thing. I used to think that success was a destination, a place that I was struggling to get to and unsure that it was actually somewhere that I would even arrive at, and certainly not without significant struggle and beating the odds that were stacked against me. Success belonged to somebody else, not to me. Although I didn't realize then that success isn't a destination. And I'll tell you in a minute how I define success. But for me, thinking back, when I was in high school and even when I was in college, like you here today, I was constantly underestimating myself, constantly questioning my worthiness. And let me tell you, battling those feelings is exhausting. I began to live what I felt was a double life, my private life and my public life. I didn't want people to know where I came from, or more importantly, why I was running away from my past. My mother had me when she was 17, both of my parents actually. They were kids themselves. It was a different time, and they worked very hard to earn a living wage, but they didn't have parenting skills, let alone college or career readiness to share with us. In fact, half of the time, it was as if my sister and I raised ourselves. I was 17 when I entered as a freshman here at U of I, and I didn't have access to a lot of the resources that freshmen have now. As I said, or as you know, it was 20 years ago when I was here, so things were different. But I was very happy to break the cycle and be the first in my family to attend college, but along with that came carrying shame. I came from a family who had family members that had been incarcerated, dealt with drug abuse, also just other misdeeds that kind of provided for small town gossip and dirty looks. This fueled stereotypes and misperceptions of my Mexican American heritage and just added to my overall feeling of not being good enough. I tended to view my background as a deficit, which caused me to think of myself as invisible, and that allowed for me to kind of fall through the cracks. I hadn't yet found my voice, how to stand up for myself, ask for what I need and what I want. I always assumed others had my best interest in mind, and that's not always the case. This created many obstacles in my career journey. I often think of my career journey as the track and field hurdles. Now, I ran track in high school, and I was terrible, absolutely terrible. In fact, I'm still a terrible runner, not very good. But who knew that I was going to be a champion at overcoming hurdles, just not in an athletic sense? I've discovered the key to finding your voice requires an acceptance and clarity in who you are, what your values are, and what your vision is. It took me a long time, decades in fact, to find mine. I was able to find mine through a lot of work, to break through my inner struggles, my own self-awareness, and through coaching from mentors. I didn't actually understand the importance of mentors back then. They're all around you. I tended to stitch together mentorship because I really had more of an observational learning. But I think when a piece of advice for you is to find a mentor, find many mentors. They will help you along the way. When I graduated the University of Idaho, I moved to Boise for work at an advertising agency. I was so excited. I was like living the life, I thought I was supposed to be living after college. I was working in advertising. I joined the industry organization, the Boise Advertising Federation. I was doing all of the right things. This was like a textbook play, right? But I had a dream. I had a dream of working on Madison Avenue. The glamour, the sophistication, the if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere fantasy. But I was so comfortable in my routine in Boise, and I was also very scared to take a risk. What if I couldn't make it? What if I really wasn't good enough? I felt my window of opportunity slowly closing and choosing to follow the beaten path as opposed to the road less traveled. So I chose to take the leap. I bought a plane ticket, moved to New York with no job and very little money. Now, I do not recommend this approach. This was not a good idea. It was only through sheer naivete and tenacity in making a second attempt was I able to make it work. It's really been this past year that I've reflected back on my journey and have begun to see that while those hurdles were extremely difficult at the time, they've really created the authentic and strong person that I am today. I fully embrace my past, my culture, and know that I am a badass woman. Thank you. Who has earned and deserves success. So getting back to success. The thing is, success is not about fame or money or material things. Those things are nice, very nice in fact, but they fade. They fade because they truly don't matter. As a human being, we're constantly in a state of FOMO or comparing ourselves to other people. Forget about that. Forge your own path. Success is a way of being and the impact you are able to make as a leader and as a role model for someone else. Some of you might feel as I did, you are not role model material. This simply isn't true. You are a leader and role models by the fact that you are here today at this university. Acknowledge and empower yourselves as current and future leaders. You have the opportunity to lead every day. whether that be within your own family, on a sports team, in a sorority or fraternity, student council, in class, and in your community. I'm proud that my cousin Leah is here, and while I may not have realized it at the time, I'm glad that I was able to be the first in my family to show the way for someone like her and many others. After I took the leap to New York, let's just say the city didn't greet me with open arms. It is a highly competitive place and will beat you up on a daily basis. In fact, it still does. I was unprepared for this experience, despite my degree from the University of Idaho and my time working in advertising in Boise. After a year of scraping by, I was working temp gigs as a hostess. I just accepted defeat, and I couldn't find a position in advertising. So I moved back to Boise with my tail between my legs. It was a very humbling experience to face those that I had so excitedly boasted. I'm off to conquer New York. And I just had to brush off my bruised ego and focus on what I had to do. Hustle. I worked so hard, not one, but 2 jobs. One at a sandwich shop, the second as a bartender. Neither of those required a college degree, but valuable experiences nonetheless. Never underestimate the power of customer service. That is a skill that if you learn, you will take that with you throughout your entire career. At that time, though, I felt that my future was derailed. I didn't even know if it was ever going to get back on track. I was a failure in my eyes and perhaps in some others, but I made it work. And I was able to take those experiences in hospitality and use them to my own advantage to land my next position as a field marketing manager for Coors Brewing Company. I could never have gotten that position if I didn't have that hospitality experience. Life is a collection of experiences. Those experiences have the power to make an impact on you, your friends, your family, your community, and your work. Experiences are created through the actions we take or don't take on a daily basis. They don't always have to be huge risks. Most of them are micro actions that you might miss or forgot that you took. A friendly smile, opening a door, making a connection, or better yet, a compliment or a piece of feedback that might change somebody's day or life. A pivotal experience for me while here at the university was learning to be in service of others. I learned this through my sorority and the sisters that became my family at Kappa Kappa Gamma. I served as philanthropy chair, which has led to becoming a consistent thread and innate part of who I am today. I have a passion for giving back and helping others in ways that I didn't have access to when I was younger. That position of philanthropy has now transcended into serving a larger purpose in the nonprofit work that I do today. One of them in particular helps teen girls. These teen girls tend to be the first in their families to graduate college, and in fact, some of them are the first in their families to graduate high school. I have a very special affinity to these girls, likely because I see myself in them. I want them to succeed. I don't want anyone to be at risk of falling through the cracks because they are too afraid or don't have the access to resources or mentors. It is now a mission of mine to cultivate the next generation of leaders with a focus on women of color. Representation matters. Remember, I wouldn't be here today if I didn't take action last year. And now is the time for you to take action. As you shape your future selves, I challenge you to ask yourself, who do I inspire and what inspires me? Use those answers to recognize the people who day in and day out make an impact for you or others. Consider how you too can create change on a daily basis. One of the greatest things about living in New York is possibility, that feeling that anything can happen. It's one of the best things about New York. There's an energy there that is unlike anywhere else in this world. Your college experience is a microcosm of that same energy. Let it inspire you. Be curious, ask questions, seek out new experiences and perspectives. Join clubs, organizations, run for student office, initiate a social good campaign. So much to do, so little time. Which brings me to time. Time. Time is such a persistent but relative thing. There are 1,440 minutes in each day. When you're young, you have loads of time. It feels infinite, but the older that you get, it becomes constrained and oh so precious. It's so easy to fall into routine or stick with what and who you know. Resist routine. As you create your own experiences, the things and the people that you surround yourself with will zig and zag over time. Trust that it will lead you to where you are supposed to be. And one last thing while I have this opportunity. Please learn the concept of compound interest over time. I realize your future personal finances aren't your top priority when you're more concerned about what's happening this weekend. But trust me, when you're able to put that down payment on a house or travel the world, I hope you will think back to this speech with a smile and pay it forward by sharing the knowledge in return. I'm deeply grateful for this experience. I urge you to find your voice while here at the University of Idaho. Take action, make every moment count to relentlessly pursue your tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Well, now don't go too far away, Michelle. Michelle, thanks for buying that ticket. And yes, you are a badass woman. And we have a little gift for you. So, for you to remember. Let's see. Oop, there we go. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.